I'm Meredith with American Trucks, and in this episode of The Haul, I'm going to be showing you my picks for the top 5 easiest mods that you can do to your 09 to 18 Ram 1500. So whether you just got your Ram or you've had it for a little while and you're looking to make it a bit more custom, but don't want to go all in with some big mods or ones that are pretty involved, then you clicked on the right video. Now today we are going to be looking at a handful of mods that are easy to install, won't take much time at all, and can be done with some basic hand tools. Now these are even going to come in at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter, and I'll show you how much time you can expect for each of the mods, as well as what tools that you'll need. Now even though we're going to be looking at 5 parts today, you can subscribe to make sure that you catch all of our newest products that have their own detailed install walkthroughs. However, that is enough for me. Let's jump into our first mod. Now working with lighting can be intimidating, but surprisingly enough, swapping out your headlights does not require any wiring know-how. The first step is getting the grill out of the way that's held in only by a couple of fasteners, and then you can access the 2 10mm bolts that are holding in the headlight, making this a very easy 1 out of 3 wrench mod. Now with the 10mm socket and probably an hour's worth of your time, you can drastically increase the lighting performance for the front end of your Ram. Now the set that I have installed today is the Raxium Super White LED Halo projector headlights. Now these will allow you to increase your lighting performance on the front end of your Ram with a more efficient design, while also giving you some pretty sleek styling in the meantime. This option by Raxium will include a projector lens that will project the light a lot farther down the road, give you a more uniform lighting pattern, and a lot brighter of a light than the factory lighting. Now on top of that, you'll also be getting an LED halo for additional styling, and of course that sleek look with the black housing and the clear impact resistant lens. Now the real reason why I chose these, however, is because these are going to be completely plug and play, and they include everything in the kit that you need in order to install these on your Ram, making this a very easy swap from your current setup. Now most of the time halos do require additional wiring, but again, all you have to do is remove the grill with that 10mm socket. You're going to take out those 2 10mm bolts that are holding the actual headlight in place. You can unplug your old light harnesses, plug the new ones into the factory connectors, reverse those couple of steps, and then you're all good to go, making this a great choice for an easy mod that will make a huge difference when it comes to the front end. Now on the topic of easy yet functional mods, security and protection is usually high up on that list, and our next mod is a great example of that. The tonneau covers are usually one of the first mods on the list for a truck, and for very good reason. Now they provide a lot of benefits from security, protection, style, and surprisingly, they assist you in your aerodynamics. Now they're also incredibly easy to install at a 1 out of 3 wrenches and are very easy to operate on a daily basis. Now there are a ton of different options for tonneau covers, including soft and hard covers, trifolds, roll-ups, and even retractable ones. So choosing one for you kind of comes down to your personal preference and the application of your build, but they all are usually going to be just as easy to get on the bed of your truck with a couple of clamps. Now the one that I have on the back of our Ram is the Rough Country Low Profile Hard Trifold Tonneau Cover. Now this one, as it says in the name, is a hard trifold cover which will offer tough security for any of the valuables that you have inside of your truck bed, and they're also going to be protected from the elements with this strong aluminum build. Now this will also sit flush to the side of the bed, making this incredibly sleek and will provide a very finished look to the back of the truck, including a nice textured black finish that you see here. Now in order to get this installed on your truck and get all of those benefits, you'll stick the 3M weather strip to the front of the truck bed, move to the sides and line up the rails with the sides of the bed. Now once they match up, you can use the provided clamps to line them up with the rail and the bed, hook them on, and use a 1/2 inch socket to tighten them up. Now once both sides are on, all you have to do is lay the tonneau cover over and secure it to the new bed rails with the provided clamps. Now the tonneau cover clamps will not even need a tool to be tightened down, considering that they have a hand loosen and tighten knob, making it super easy to pop off if you ever need any extra space for larger items inside your bed. Now my favorite part about this cover is that it's incredibly easy to use on a day-to-day basis. Whenever you need access to your bed, you simply open up your tailgate and pull down on the release cable, and you can easily flip it open. Not to mention, the aluminum construction will make this thing super lightweight and effortless to open, again, on a day-to-day basis. So now that we covered the back and the front when it comes to easy mods, what about the sides? Now our next mod is going to have that covered. So side steps and running boards require a couple more bolts than the standard tonneau cover or the headlight setup, but that doesn't mean they're not incredibly simple to bolt up to your truck. Now the truck comes with mounting points for running boards or side steps right out of the factory, taking a lot of guesswork out of the equation when it comes to adding some function and even some protection to the side of your Ram. Now the set of running boards that I have mounted up are the Barricade Rattler steel running boards in black. Now these will fill up most of that wheel-to-wheel space with a large stepping surface, allowing you and your passengers better access when hopping in and out of the Ram, especially if it's lifted. Now stamped steel construction will also offer some solid protection to that rocker area, which is great if you take your truck off-road, if you take it to the work site, or even if you daily drive your Ram and you want to protect the body from any kick-up on the street. This 1 out of 3 wrench install will include 3 main brackets and 3 supporting brackets for each side that you can attach directly to the body of the truck with the provided hardware in those factory mounting locations. Now once the brackets are installed, you're able to lay the side step onto the brackets with the provided stud plates and secure them with the bolts and the hardware in the kit. Now there is a decent amount of hardware in the box to get everything attached. However, you're really only going to need a 13mm and 10mm socket and wrench for the entire install, taking you no longer than 2 hours from start to finish, making this a very easy way to gain better access and of course better protection for your truck. So now that we covered most of the easy exterior mods, I want to show you one in a spot that you may not have expected for an easy mod, and that's underneath the hood. So the next mod that we're taking a look at is the Mishimoto baffled oiled catch can. Now this mod is a little bit more involved than the other ones that we just took a look at. However, this is still incredibly easy to install on your truck while offering a number of different benefits in the meantime. Now you may not realize this, but oil on its way out of your engine does make its way back in, which can bring some imperfections with it, which can actually bog down your engine's performance. Now it does happen over a longer period of time, but this catch can will reduce that sludge, or the blow-by is what it's called, by trapping it, allowing for clean air circulation and better efficiency from your Ram's motor. Now when it comes to actually installing this catch can, this is going to be a little bit more involved, like I said before, because this is inside of your engine bay, but it still gets a very easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Now you will need to pop off the intake tube by loosening up a couple clamps with the 8mm socket, and once that's out of the way, you'll have room to work with, and you'll be able to wiggle off the PCV pipe off of the intake and the throttle body to make room for the new and better lines. After that, you can mount up the bracket that's going to hold the catch can using the factory bolt and a 13mm socket, making it even easier since you won't have to mess around trying to find a spot to put it in the engine bay. Now after the can is threaded onto the bracket with the provided hardware and a small Allen key, then you're ready to thread on the fittings, pop on the new lines to both the intake and the throttle body, and after that you'll just have to reinstall the intake tube and you're all set to go, taking you probably an hour to get this installed for a very functional mod. Now one of the best things about this kit is that it is specific to the truck, so it's not a universal application like some other options, making it much easier to install, keeping your engine healthier for a longer period of time. Now speaking of our engine, our next mod is going to directly affect the response that we get out of it, so let's take a look at that one next. So inside the cab here is our last mod, and this will be one of the easiest mods when it comes to making a noticeable difference in your truck's throttle response and the feeling of a faster truck off the line. Now if you've noticed, your Ram does come with a little lag or a little bit of a delay from when your foot hits the pedal to when your truck actually gets going, and the SpeedForm throttle controller will eliminate or modify that delay in order to increase or modify that throttle response. Now this will modify the voltage sent to your ECU to access 5 different preset modes on the device, including Eco, Sport, Comfort, and Race, with 9 sensitivity adjustments to fine-tune your response. Now accessing those modes is as simple as plugging the device in, which makes this incredibly easy. Now this will be a super simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, will require no tools at all, and is going to take you about 15 minutes worth of your time to get this installed. Now this will access the ECU through the throttle pedal wiring harness that's located directly on top of your gas pedal. This split harness included in the kit will just plug into the male and female connectors on your factory harness, and then all you have to do from there is plug in the device and find a spot on your dash to mount it up with the pre-installed 3M backing. Now once it's installed, you can flip through all of the different modes, choosing the one that suits you and your truck best, while also having the ability to change it on the fly, giving options for you and your Ram. So that is going to be a wrap for this video. Make sure that you hit that like button if you enjoyed my recommendations, or leave a comment below of your choices for the easiest mods for your Ram. Also, subscribing will keep you up to date with our newest installs, and you can find more options just like these parts right at AmericanTrucks.com.